Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're tuning in from around the world. This is Publications webinar series. My name is Greg Soteropoulos. I hope everyone is feeling okay. I hope everybody is in a good mood. I know it's difficult with everything that we're going through, but we must try to keep a positive attitude, correct? Could you please stretch out your fingers and type in the question box located in the dashboard, where are you tuning in from? And tell me how you're feeling. Tell me how you're feeling right now, this very moment. We have Phuket, Thailand. I'm very happy to see you too. It's always a pleasure. Well, I can't see you. I can just see your comments, but hopefully at some point in the future, I will be able to meet all of you in person. We have Bangkok. We are very tired. Yes, I understand how you feel. Thailand. Excited, so am I. Motivated, yes. Philippines, Bangkok, Malaysia. Nice to see you all. Yes, we're going to learn new things again today. I'm going to learn from you, from your comments and from your experiences, and you will learn from me, from my suggestions. We're anxious. Okay. It's okay to be a little bit anxious. Welcome. Greece, Alava, hello. Thank you for being here. Thailand, happiness. You're happy? I'm happy too. See, it's all about interaction. It's all about starting off your lessons in a way that makes the other person feel uplifted. Just give me a moment because it is extremely hot here today. And with today's particular webinar, we are dealing with routines and habits. Our routines and habits have changed from pre-quarantine, pre-Rona 19. They have changed throughout this social distancing, this turbulent time that we're living in, and our routines and habits should change post-quarantine. Okay. It's very interesting though, as I follow my routine and my habits every day. No matter how prepared you can be throughout your day, throughout your routine, always expect the unexpected. The reason why I'm saying this is, with every webinar, I have certain things that I do before the webinar to get set up. I have my mouse, my clicker, my cell phone turned off so that I can keep time. I have my water, right? And as I was about to log on, I heard a yell from the other room because I'm with my kids and I'm here with my mother. And she's screaming for me. She says, I know you have a webinar in 2 minutes, but please come quick. And I run upstairs and the washing machine is gushing water from the front, from the opening. So what do? I have a webinar in 2 minutes. My mother needs my help. My routine was going splendidly. I was all set, sitting here ready to log on. Okay, turned off the washing machine, put a bunch of towels underneath, and said to her, sit tight. In 1 hour, I'm coming back to fix the problem. Why do I say this? Why did I share this little experience with you? Because in life, in our day-to-day schedule, in our day-to-day agenda, no matter how well prepared you can be, you never know what can happen. So you need to be ready for anything, okay? With routines and habits now, there we go. It's always good to turn on the clicker. You see, in my haste of going upstairs, I didn't turn on my clicker. Aristotle said it best. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Now, because I do not believe in excellence, and I do not believe in perfection, because I believe we can always improve our perfection, and we can improve our excellence, I would like to remove that word and, with all due respect to Aristotle, add a different word. We are what we repeatedly do. Success, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. I want us to have success become a habit, not just for us, but for our future global agents of change. That's what we're going to do today. We are going to analyze our routines, our habits, in order to be more successful on a daily basis. And our students need this because our students, their routines and habits are just off the wall. They don't exist with what happened in quarantine, okay? They need a little bit more structure in their lives. Someone just wrote, expect the unexpected, the Karate Kid. Yes, absolutely. Guys, I'm really, really happy with your question, with your comments. It really allows me to have this positive energy with you, regardless if, I can't see you and I can't hear you. And that bothers me a lot because I really would love to listen to your voices and your the energy behind your thoughts. But your comments are, seriously, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you very much. So the two words that we're talking about, routine and habit. A routine, before I give you the whole definition, I showed you just the bottom part of the definition, particular order. And that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the sequence of actions that are done in a particular order, and why are they done in this particular order from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep. But what are these sequence of actions? These sequence of actions throughout our day are our habits, okay? So these actions or behaviors that we do often in a regular or repeated way are the habits that fill up our routine throughout the day. Okay. Unfortunately, though, what happens to us is we get stuck in the day-to-day routine, and then that becomes somewhat like we're in autopilot. Okay, we're in cruise control, that we're so comfortable with what we're doing and how we're living that we're not accepting change. We're not adapting to change. We are teaching in a way that works for us. Our routines and habits in school, we're following them because it works for us, rather than think about our students' needs. Excuse me. And every year, that new set of students that come in, we have to reevaluate our routines and habits with them and say, this worked last year splendidly, but now I have to see, is this going to work again with these kids? And also, throughout your school year, no matter where you teach, at a public school, at a private school, at a frodisterio, okay, no matter where you teach, throughout the school year or the semester, your students, their growth, their performance changes. And so you need to keep track of that. And in keeping track with that, you may have to also adapt and recalibrate your habits and routines with your students. As a reflection, I'd like to ask you a question. So stretch out your fingers and write on the keyboard the answer to this question. What was the very first habit that you did this morning, today? What was the very first thing you did? We are close to 200 strong. That's awesome. I love it. Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. So, opened my eyes, washed my face, laid in bed, prayed, checked on my plants. Very important. No need to laugh. It's true. Pray. I opened the windows for fresh air. I stretched. I prayed. Suddenly, no sound. If you have no sound, check your audio settings, please, and adjust it. Turned on the TV, hit the snooze button. Check my phone, made my bed. Woke up and prepared for work. I prayed, checked my phone, prayed and read my Bible, checked my line and my emails. Ladies and gentlemen, the first habit that you did today was waking up at a particular time. Okay, that's what you did. That was the very first thing, opening your eyes at a specific time. My habit is waking up at 5:30 a.m. every single day. It used to be 4 o'clock before kids, eons ago, but now it's 5:30. My habits changed throughout the year. What? Oh my, yes, it's true, 5:30. Some of these habits that I did, I don't do anymore. I do brush my teeth morning and night. Sometimes I forget because I don't have self-discipline. Self-discipline. That's a resource that we're going to talk about today. Exercising every morning. That's a joke. No, that has not happened for a very long time. Again, ambition, self-awareness, other resources that we're going to talk about. Reading the New York Times before heading to work. I used to do that. Eating popcorn while watching Netflix. Used to do it. Purchasing a sesame bagel from Tom's Bagel Factory. Can't do it anymore because I don't live in New York. But if I did have them here, I would be doing it. So why did I send this? Why did I share this with you? Throughout our lives, our routines and habits change according to our environment and according to how we grow, how we change in our lifestyle, both professional and personal. And so we need to reflect now today on what we're doing with our routines, our weekly routines and our weekend routines, okay? The routines we have for school and the routines we have in our personal life, because they all connect with one another. Routines are usually the collection of these habits and actions that we do on a regular basis to bring order to our day. So, my friends, let me ask you the next question. How do you feel when, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, everything just falls into place? All the habits that you have throughout the day work, they're all successful, right? And you go to sleep and you say, wow, this was an amazing day. How do you feel when that happens? Does it happen often or not? If it doesn't happen often, do you ask yourself, why doesn't it happen as often as it should? Because let me explain to you that the rhythm in our daily life is in our hands, okay? Just now something happened before I started the webinar. I had to say to myself, is this controllable? Can I continue with my routine? Or is this an emergency where I have to call someone or come on and say, give me 10 minutes, I'll be back? It's in our control, okay? Most of it. So, right now, we are going to finally calibrate both our routines and habits. And how are we going to do this? We're going to calibrate them by looking at resources that will help us to do this. The first resource and the most limited resource that we have is what? What is it, my fellow educators? Are we there? Can you hear me? Yes? Come on, we're 200 people plus on. I want to see that question box flying. What's our most limited resource? And I'm giving you the visual prompt as a guide. It is time. Time is our most limited resource, and especially as educators, because as educators, we are boxed in to say, okay, we have to finish this lesson in this amount of time. And we have to complete certain habits in a certain amount of time. And we have to finish our routine in a certain amount of time. So let's analyze time for a moment, okay? We wake up in the morning and we choose to wake up at a specific time. There is a reason why we do that. We start our day. How can a teacher beat the time to achieve the learning objective? Don't beat the time. You don't want to beat time. You don't want time to control you. You want to control the time that you have. And this is what we're going to work on now. Okay. From the time you wake up to the time you start either your online lesson or you go to school to start your day at school, this is a micro routine. You see, our daily routine is a macro routine, and it's broken up into micro routines. So whatever you do during that period of time are filled with little habits that you have. Okay. Then you start your school day or your lessons. And that's another routine that you have. After that, you continue your personal routine until you close your eyes and go to sleep. Closing your eyes and going to sleep at a specific time is your choice. Okay. Nothing controls that except you. So, what do you do during this time? How can you check what you're doing is, let's say, the time that you are spending on every habit? Is it enough? Because we have two problems. The first problem that we have is that we spend too much time on these. And the other problem we have is that we don't spend enough time on other things that we have to do. So if we have an agenda, which was the other presentation that we shared, the other webinar, and if we have journal writing, which was the other professional development webinar, a suggestion, and we reflect and analyze the agendas that we have and the journals that we write, we can find that we need to recalibrate our time spent throughout our day. Okay, today, thank you very much. It's true though, you know, routines and habits are extremely beneficial. And I think that it's not that we ignore it, it's just that we don't realize that so much is in our control. And if we can sit and really look at things objectively with a bird's eye perspective of what's happening in our lives, instead of worrying about what you're listening to on social media and the news and all that negativity, focus on yourself. All right, work on you with your routines and habits. And you will see when you calibrate your time more efficiently, it's going to help those around you too. Your interactions with your kids, with your family, with your friends, with your students with their friends is going to be a little bit more rhythmic. And the rhythm throughout your day is going to be more successful. And that's going to change your attitude. All right. The remaining slides all highlight time. Okay. Excuse me. The next resource is self-discipline, self-awareness, ambition, which unfortunately our students do not have enough of. And then the key to all habits, behavior. Our behavior and the behavior of our students. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Self-discipline. How many of us have it? How many of us can control it? How many of us understand just how important it is regarding our routines? It is a key to many doors in life, not least of which is one that leads to a much better, much stronger, and a healthier version of ourselves. So, with the technology today, students' routines were merely spent in social. Yes, Jesse, I totally agree with you. Jesse says, students' routines were merely spent on social media. How can we encourage them to read instead? I'll take out read, and I will, after this webinar, I think you will see how we can encourage them in general to do things a little bit differently. Okay. So, self-discipline. First and foremost, it's being absolutely 100% crystal clear with what you want to accomplish. Every day, every week, every month, every year. Yes, that's how I break it down in my life. You need to look at things, okay, not only from a bird's eye perspective, yearly, but then start breaking it down either biannually, every 3 months, every month, every week, every day. Okay, it is difficult, but you will start putting it into practice slowly, and that too will become a habit. Never forget the why. With self-discipline, you're doing things throughout the day for a reason. Ask yourself why you're doing it. So let's start with the very first habit that we talked about, yes? Waking up in the morning. Why don't you wake up at 5:30 in the morning with me? Why don't you? Answer. Come on, reflect. Come on, guys. Why don't you wake up at 5:30 in the morning? I'm just curious. Why don't you? I have 2 kids. So do I. I have a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old. Lack of goal because I love sleeping. I'm kidding. Well, we all love sleeping. Without sleep, we can't work. We can't. I need to sleep. Why would I? You're asking a question with a question. Come on, guys. Sleep late. It's too early. Why? I sleep really late. Why? I always wake up before 5:30 every day. Excellent. I go to sleep late. Why? Sleep late. Why? I'm not going to wake up early in the morning because I'm not used to waking up early in the morning. Having thoughts that can be done during the day for medicine. I work till midnight. Why? To take medicine. Because I normally wake up every day at 6 a.m. Okay, that's close. Insomnia. Okay. Why? I know that I'm sounding like a parrot. Why? Why? But until you find the reason to why, you have no self-discipline. Okay. You wake up around that time too. Good. Now, the question you may ask me is, why do I wake up at 5:30 every morning? I need to have, personally, as Greg, between 6 to 7 hours of sleep every day. I have seen that if I don't get that amount of sleep, I'm a little bit off the next day. If I sleep too much, which usually doesn't happen, again, I'm off. Why do I wake up in the morning? Because I feel that with my 2 kids waking up later on, the time that I have between 5:30 and 7:30 is my time. It's my time to do things for myself. And I put it into a habit. And it works for me. So everything is food for thought, guys. I'm not judging. I'm not forcing. I'm just talking to you, giving ideas, having an interaction with you to see if you can analyze a little bit more what you're doing in your day to day. We have to eliminate our distractions because those distractions, guys, sometimes are our weaknesses. Now, another question. What is the key distraction for your students? What is the key distraction right now for your students? It may not have been a distraction before Rona 19, but it is now. What would be that key distraction? Online games, peer pressure, Roblox. Oh, Jacob, man, that game, oh man, with my daughter, crazy. Addicted to that thing. Mobile, social media addiction. What else? Come on. Social media, online games. Guys, you're 200 people with me. Come on. Let's go. Think about this. Distractions, mobile chats, failure, interaction with friends, gadgets, social media. So when students start going back to school, do you think that this is going to continue to be a distraction and their weakness? I think it may. I think this may cause a little issue because the wired generation is becoming even more wired into technology because parents, the triangular relationship in education, student, parent, teacher, the parents are not involving themselves as much as they should have during this very, very turbulent time. So students cannot socialize by nature with other students live, face to face. So they're drawn into technology. Lack of child support, social media, no discipline, Minecraft, absolutely. Fortnite, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Netflix, all of these things, Hulu, are absorbing their attention instead of having them becoming a little bit more self-disciplined with life skills, people skills, skills around the house. We need to change our perception on our willpower and our students' perception on their willpower, because I can't accept that students cannot wean themselves off of technology. My daughter is not allowed to have her cell phone Monday through Friday during the school year. Friday after school till Sunday, she's allowed to have her cell phone. That is a rule, that is a habit, that is something that she knows. When quarantine started, do you know how many fights I had with her? Because I kept this rule. She went crazy. But this is in school, and I should be able to have my phone to talk to my friends. And I said, Opa, wait. This isn't school. Online learning is in school. There was the problem with quarantine, guys, was that students, they didn't have the correct mindset when we started this whole shenanigan with quarantine learning. The students didn't understand that this was teaching, this was school. So this affected their habits and routines. Prioritizing tasks and activities and tracking the progress of these tasks and activities are so important regarding self-discipline. You are the one that is accountable towards your self-discipline, not someone else. You cannot blame outside forces for not doing what you're supposed to do because you know that's what you should do. Okay, when it comes to education. All right, there are some forces outside that we cannot control, obviously, but that's going way beyond what we're discussing right now with our students. The next resource, self-awareness. I've spoken about this before and why we teach the way we do, that this is a key professional development concept. The conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. Your self-awareness is so important with how you show yourself to others. And the same goes for your students. So when we say to each other, well, self-awareness is about looking in the mirror. It's about asking the mirror and looking in the mirror and saying, okay, what can I do to better myself? But be careful, because what happens here is you expect the mirror to say to you, you are the greatest of them all. You are the most handsome, the most smart, the most intelligent, the most wonderful person of them all. Okay, it's good to have that idea about yourself, but, and this is a huge but, when it comes to education, okay, when it comes to development, know yourself, be aware of your verbal and nonverbal behaviors, but at the same time, we must accept feedback from those around us. We must accept and ask for constructive criticism by our friends, our kids, our colleagues, our students. How many of you, I'm very curious to see your answers right now. How many of you have been observed in your teaching career? How did you feel when you were told or when that person came in to observe you? Have you ever been observed? I'm sure out of 200 plus attendees, you've been observed. Yes. How have you felt? How did you feel? Okay, yes, you have. I want to know how did you feel? How did you feel with that observation when they were in there, sitting in the back, taking notes, taking a video, looking at you with that face? A little bit nervous, anxious, distracted. Fine, it's part of work, being observed. Uncomfortable, nervous, but the feedback is good. Anxious, not comfortable, certainly nervous. I couldn't react spontaneously. You see, it is helpful, challenging, weird, uncomfortable. I feel good to know my strengths and weaknesses, nervous at first, but just be yourself. It's natural. The feedback helps me see myself, awkward. It's okay now, but I used to be anxious, a little bit nervous at first. You see, this is a natural response to be nervous. When I was teaching 25 years ago, I was nervous as hell when I started to be observed, right? I mean, I literally was sweating like crazy because the person in the back was videotaping, like the recorder was next to her, and she was taking notes. And I was saying, oh no, am I all right? Am I standing okay? Am I speaking all right? What's my name? Greg? Yes, that's me. Like, I lost all consciousness sometimes. But let me tell you what happens here with self-awareness in school. The moment that you're going to be observed, usually you are told, the person who is observing you should have a 10-minute talk with you as to why they are there, why they are there. And they need to ease those feelings that you have so that you understand that they are there for two reasons, actually three. The first, they are there to observe your strengths with your interaction with your students and vice versa. They are there to look at your limitations as a teacher, for we all have them. Each and every one of you and I have limitations. They are there to observe that. And they are there to observe achievements. They are there to see things that you do that make you your authentic self as a teacher. And that is what they should be telling you. Your strengths, your limitations, and key elements in your authenticity. Okay, why am I saying this to you? Because you at one point may be doing the observation to others. So please keep this in mind regarding self-awareness. Realize that I did not once use the word weakness regarding what we do and what we do with our students and how they are in the class. We use the word limitations. The words we choose are so important, and you will see that in the coming slides. Self-talk. In self-awareness with routines and habits, a habit that I have is self-talk. It is, you can say meditation, but not really. It's just talking to your inner self. Students do not do this. Or do they? Do they talk to their inner self? Many times they do, guys, and it becomes a habit. And this habit that our students do regarding self-awareness is something that is negative. Because they sit in class and they go, damn it, I don't know this. Oh, I should have studied harder. I'm going to sound stupid. I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to write enough. My handwriting isn't nice. I'm not this. I'm not that. Students have a lot of self-talk, but usually it's in the wrong direction. So how do we change this? How do we wake them up so that a habit is instilled in every class? So we know no matter what happens during class, this one little habit will change them before they leave. In the doorway, on top of the door, okay, from the inside, so as students are walking out of the class, on top of the door, you are going to stick a positive motivational quote, short and sweet, that students are going to look at and read to themselves before they leave. The one that I want to suggest to be the first is, each and every one of you has greatness inside of you. So that when all the students leave, they have to say it out loud before they go. Now you're going to say to me, Greg, I have 30, 40, 50 students in class. It's impossible that they're going to read it before they leave. They don't have enough time. True, I agree with you, but let's act proactively. That motivational quote is going to stay there for 2, maybe 2.5 weeks. Okay. Within those 2.5 weeks, every single student will have said it at one point, 2, 3, 4 times within those 2.5 weeks. That becomes a habit. Take that down, put another one up. Before they leave, we want them to feel good about themselves. So that no matter what happened, no matter what negative self-talk they had during the class, we want them to leave with some good self-talk. Okay, guys? Positive reassurance helps diminish negative self-talk. Love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. We do not want them to dwell on their failures. We tell them, fail, fail again, fail better. It means you're improving, but don't dwell on them. Okay. Learn to say no. Self-awareness. Learn to say no. As a teacher, you need to know when to say no to yourself. You need to realize and catch yourself in a routine of teaching that if something isn't working, you say, no, 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 Greg, no, change gears. When I'm doing a webinar, when I see your questions, when I see your comments, when I see the time, when I see what I'm saying, sometimes I have a thought and I have to say, no, don't say it. It's going to take too much time. We don't have time. I have to continue. Learn to say no. Decisions should be questioned. Okay, question the decisions you make. Not all the time, but don't forget to do it. Wait a minute. I just want to take a quick look because sometimes I like this. Sometimes our students have their friends make them have negative self-talk. That we're going to talk about in a moment regarding ambition. Okay. Ambition. This is a resource that I'm really diving into, because from my experience in teaching 25 years on all aspects, from first grade all the way up to I was an adjunct professor at the Athens University teaching at the MBA. So I had executives coming in to learn this subject that I was teaching. No matter what the age, adults, executives, CEOs, teenagers, primary, first graders, pre-K, ambition is for everyone. Our future global agents of change are not ambitious enough. They want to be led through life, being taken by the hand, being told what to learn, being told what's on the test, learning quickly for the test, getting the grade, forgetting the content, forgetting the language, forgetting how to conceptualize the language, and having that grade and just being taken again through life. Okay. Ambition is a source of motivation and vice versa. You need to be motivated towards ambition. I think that it's like they are just synthesized together, motivation and ambition. With ambition, we have goals. We need to have goals and be ambitious with those goals, but do not share them. What? What did you just say, Greg? No, really, don't share your goals, because those are your personal goals. Those are the things that you want to work for. Those are the things that you construct your habits and your routines around. And if you are ambitious and you have these goals, you need to be willing to take risks, calculated risks. If you don't take risks, then I personally feel you're not being ambitious enough. And these calculated risks, if you tell people your goals, they will look at you and say, you know what? Maybe if you don't mind me saying so, you should do it this way because that's not going to work. And maybe you shouldn't do that because that's not going to work. So what does that mean? They are becoming naysayers. Remember the other webinar. They are becoming naysayers. And these naysayers are going to trigger self-doubt in yourself. So if you start having self-doubt, that was funny, self-doubt in yourself. Oh man, sometimes we say things and we're just like, did I just say that? Self-doubt. And if you have this self-doubt, then that bothers your ambition. Yes? Absolutely. Expose yourself to new ways of thinking. You cannot be ambitious enough to your full potential if you don't expose yourself to new ways of thinking. You can't keep yourself on a straight track of thinking how you're doing everything in life and in teaching. You have to go off that track. And in being ambitious in your day-to-day lives, you have to focus on what? How you execute every single thing you do throughout the day to the best of your ability. In doing that, I don't want you to compete with your colleagues. Being ambitious does not mean you should compete in education. And I'm talking about education now. Because if you have competition within the realm of the faculty, then you are not working as a united front towards the betterment of your students' performance. You as a faculty should all have ambitious goals in which you are going to work towards for your classroom. You work together collaboratively, okay? And you need to, your comments are, I'm loving your comments today, okay? I'm sorry I cannot get into all of them because of time, but I am catching some of them. All right, thank you very, very much. They're really, really great. So I want you to work together as a team. Help one another become more ambitious, okay? Now you're going to say to me, yes, but Greg, you just said not to share our goals with one another. So if we're working collaboratively and you're telling us not to share our goals, then that contradicts what you're saying. It does in the realm of education, but in your personal routines, in your personal life, no. And I said to you before, about 20 minutes ago, everything is connected. In education, when it comes to ambition, it's not personal ambition, right? It's ambition towards doing what? Towards teaching more effectively for our students. We're being selfless right now. We're thinking about our kids, not us. Okay. We're developing ourselves not directly for us, but for our students to have a better connection with us. You see, this is the magic with professional development, with education. We think we're doing it for us, but we're not. What we're really doing is we're doing it for us in order to make it better for our students. So like it's going through us towards our students. Okay. So just surround yourself with ambitious people. It's the power of proximity. And if you have this wonderful power of proximity in a school, if any of you are principals, coordinators, directors right now with me, this is your number one goal, is to nurture and cultivate a school culture for your faculty in which the power of proximity is based on ambitious people. And if you do that, then you're on the right road towards education. Okay. Behavior. Now here is one. This is a resource that is the heart and soul of all habits. Okay. I want you, please, to act always with a purpose. Always. No matter what you do it with a purpose. Okay. Always, every single day, look beyond your limits. I don't want you to focus on your limitations. Look beyond it. And once you look beyond your limitations, that's where you're focusing on your strengths. And your behavior changes when you do that. This I cannot stand. And there's a reason why I put this, because this is a behavior that I see happen that has to stop regarding self-awareness and behavior with your habit, because it becomes a habit to expect a result from your actions. And students do this too. You know, the monkeys in the classroom that go, oh, you ask a question. Oh, this, I know. And then they're doing that because they want to show everyone, I know the answer. Wait, watch. And then they say the answer and then they go, right? They're not answering it because they know the answer and they just want to share it with you. They want to tell you the answer because they want to show off to everyone else that they're a know-it-all. We as adults do that too. And what is something that's happening is in social media, this behavior is happening with the likes and the shares of selfies and things like that, and TikTok videos, that kids are trying to do something to expect results from that action that they did. And it's false. It's fake, I think. Again, these are just suggestions, guys. Okay, I'm not preaching. I'm just suggesting based on experiences. All right. So when we teach, we have to be humble. When they learn, they have to be humble. When they are doing things outside of school, they should be humble about it and not say, I'm doing something for something else. Apologize for my voice. Setbacks improve your skills, embrace them. This was just shown during quarantine. Okay. We had many setbacks during quarantine regarding education, but we improved our skill sets. I know I did. I never did webinars before this. And I was horrible practicing before I did my first webinar. I couldn't understand how to act in front of this little light in this box and this, I can't break out of this box because if I do, you won't see me. I'm not used to this. I'm used to talking in conferences and events and talking to students and teachers. Seek those who share your positive attitude. Forgive the limitations of others. Stop pointing the finger. That is a behavior. That is a habit. Stop doing that. Okay. The limitations of others are expected because we all have them. So just forgive it. Just let it go. Now, this next slide regarding behavior is the slide that I want to remain with you for the rest of your career. Okay. Before I show it, though, I want us to remember to say thank you. Why do I write that down? I did an experiment 3 months now during quarantine about behavior. Because we are social beings by nature, I told my kids that no matter where we go, no matter what we do outside of the house, I want us to say thank you to people when there's an interaction. For example, I went to get a coffee. My son wanted an orange juice to go. The lady gave the orange juice to my son and he said, "Thank you very much." And he smiled at her. And she said, "You're very welcome." And the next many times when people said this to him, "And what's your name?" And he would say, "I'm Harris." "What's your name?" And then the person would not, they would say, "Oh, wow, he's asking me my name too." And there would be a short little communicative dialogue. But I would not listen to the words that they were saying. I was looking at the nonverbal body language from the person he was speaking to. And I could tell that they were genuinely happy. Thank you is a phrase that isn't genuinely said enough. Okay. And I think after quarantine and after coming back to, some semblance of not real life, but social life, thank you is a great phrase to use. I even say thank you just sometimes for being with people. And it's nice. Anyway, it's a behavior. Here's the slide. Now, I'm coming closer, okay? This little boy is our future global agent of change. He is going to be influencing the future. He's holding on to his dad's leg. And the reason why he's holding on to his dad's leg is because the people who influence the behavior of children before us as teachers are parents. So the result of bad behavior in our class isn't because of us. It's because of environment. It's because of social class. It's because of parents. It's because of everything else before us. That being said, I want us to really focus on 3 things. Number 1, keep your thoughts positive. Why? Because the thoughts become the words. That's the first. Focus on that. Keep your words positive, because then our words become our behavior. Okay. You got that so far? Yes. The connection. And here's the final. This is what ties this all in. Keep your behavior positive, because then your behavior become your habits. Interesting. This is extremely powerful and extremely interesting to reflect on for yourself in your journals and in your agendas and in your everyday interactions with people. Because your personal habits become your habits professionally. And your professional habits affect your personal habits. Okay. Are your kids listening to you? Do you have a problem with kids not listening in your class in general? Asking. You know, I really miss listening to you guys. I wish I could just put on all of your mics. I've never done it before. I think next week I have to try something. I think I'm going to try it. Next week, next week the webinars I'm going to change it a little bit. I may open up some mics so this way I can hear you guys. Okay, because I miss hearing you guys. So listening, majority of them, most of the students, some kids aren't listening sometimes. Yes, okay, because they can't understand English. Interesting. They can't understand English. I would put my money on it that they do understand a lot more than we think. They just don't want to show you. They just don't want to participate. They're not ambitious enough to show you. I think. I might be wrong, but I don't know. My experiences have shown me that students know a lot more than they choose to show. They would prefer their mother tongue. Some listen, but they don't. So let me help you with this, because this is a behavior, this is a habit. All right. Ask yourself, are they hungry? Hungry. Are they tired? Have you been paying attention to them? When we don't respond to what they say right away, we aren't modeling good listening behavior. Maybe a change of scenery, getting outside, improving your behavior. Maybe it would improve their behavior if you changed their scenery. But Greg, we're in quarantine. Then you take them outside. You take your laptop and go somewhere else when you're doing your lesson. Tell your students to go to a different part of their house if they can and do your lesson that way. Don't make it static. Okay. Students are too shy to give a response. But see, you're talking about speaking. I'm talking about listening. I'm talking about the second part of the communicative approach, the second pillar in English. Speaking is one thing. Listening is another. Why are they not listening to you? Why are they not engaged in what you're saying? Students are going through a lot right now. I can tell you right now in quarantine, if your students have been in quarantine 2-3 months doing online lessons, they've had enough. I'm telling you right now, they've had enough. They can't stand it. Okay. My kids always think they're weak in English. Not weak. They have limitations. It's okay though. All right. When speaking to your students, when you go back to school now, I want you to remember to get down to their level. If you're taller than them, you're harder to ignore. When I was teaching in first grade, I spent half of the year on my knees because I'm an extremely tall guy. I'm 6'7", 2 meters too. So these first graders were like, this guy's a giant. So I didn't want them to look at me like this. I had to come on their level when they weren't listening. Hold their hands to get and keep their attention. Ask for their eye contact. Do not start speaking until you get it. Have them repeat back what you said, paraphrasing. Lack of concentration. Excuse me. Why are they not concentrating? Something is happening. Why they're not concentrating? Oh, see, I lost track of time. I apologize. Keep your language positive. What does your students' behavior mean? We have whiners, the boss, the rebel, the disrespecter, and the provoker. These are the type of students that cause bad behavior. Are these because of us? Are these behaviors in class because of us? Absolutely not, because of you. This is because of the parents. I'm speaking as a parent. I am allowed to point fingers at parents because I am one. I am allowed to say that parents are not pulling their weight because I am one. You see, a parent influences our students' behavior so much that they don't realize it. And that in turn causes the habit. Remember what we said in the other slide. Habit, behavior, words, thoughts from the parents. So then you have to figure out how to deal with these type of students. And it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. So how do we set up our students for success? How do we set up these students that are not concentrating, not motivated? If you are able to understand their dominant study habit, now, yes, I could have put Gardner's intelligence theory, but I don't need to do that. All right, because I'm not into methodologies and theories. You can find that on Google. Their dominant study habits are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, logical, verbal, social, solitary. Okay, so you need to know these at the beginning of the year. You need to see and realize how they change throughout the year. When your students come back to school, they're going to have different habits now that we have to be aware of and be proactive about. So these students who are not concentrating, not motivated, have bad behavior. If we start, now watch how everything links, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my educators, watch how everything links. When I shared with you a monthly planner, when I shared with you agendas for our students every Friday to put a report in the agenda so the parents can see it, and the students write down every day from the moment they wake, to the moment they sleep, their routines, you will start seeing their habits. In those habits, we will understand if they have been studying. We will understand why the lower performing students are really lower performing, the average are average, and the higher performing are higher performing. We will have an inside look towards our students by doing this. And in doing so, we are going to help them with these study goals by asking, when do they usually study and for how long? Does that coincide with their agendas? Do you find that this is effective for them? Should we change their routine and their habit a little bit? Studying long does not mean you're getting smarter. Studying smart means you're getting smarter. Are they happy with their grades? Not the parents, the students. Do they know what they need to have to pass your class? Is the bar set too low? You cannot, I heard someone said this to me at another presentation and it freaked me out. You cannot have the passing grade as a 50% and have all your students be able to pass the class with a 50%. I don't understand how that works. That they can conceptualize 50% of the content, but the other 50% they don't have to know, so they could go to the next class. But if they don't know at least 25% more of that 50% that they don't have to know, that's a building block for English, right? So I think that we can combat this by doing the following. What areas of English do they need to focus on or are having difficulty with? Yes, hard study is a lonely journey, but we want this to be fun studying, to be a journey to be done together. Okay, Mary, this is how I see it. So our most limited resource is time. Our students are not spending enough time, excuse me, studying. They may be studying things that they already know and spending too much time on that, and they're not spending enough time on things they don't know or are having difficulty with. We have to see that, cross-check it with their agendas, give them time management skills, which is going to be part of a webinar in July. Because if they reallocate and recalibrate their time management for their habits and for their studying, then they may be able to do it better and get better grades. To do this, we have to help them with their daily routine and their agendas. How we're going to do this? By creating study zones. Study zones is going to be a habit. What is a study zone? Every single day, our students are going to study. 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 15. If they're going to have a test, that time in their agenda is going to increase accordingly. And that time is going to be broken up into intervals of what they don't know to be studied first and what they do know to be studied last. A study zone is just like, as I make analogies to sports, when you are playing a sport, football, basketball, baseball, and you are in the zone, that means you are so focused, so motivated, so concentrated, no one can stop you. What does this mean? That when playing a sport, your diet, you're eating right, you're exercising, you're sleeping enough, you're playing hard, and you're having fun. This means you're going to be successful. So let's take their study zone, let's take their habits and their routine, analyze it, work with them, guide them, facilitate, and keep in mind, does diet play a role in how they study? Does diet play a role with their performance in school? Does exercise play a role? Does sleeping play a role? Does playing, jollification, having fun in education play a role with what they remember and how they look at the subject? Okay. Yes. What about our feelings? What about our psychology as teachers? Someone wrote. I think you see right the students and look through their eyes. Always, some kids do it purposely just to sabotage the lesson. Yeah, okay. Some students, as I said, their behaviors are different. They're doing it because of a reason. There's a reason why they're doing it. Either because they want the attention, they want to cry, they want to be listened to, they want to be understood, they want to be treated differently than how they're treated outside of school. There are many things. That's why our roles as teachers are so multifaceted, guys. It's not black and white. Teaching is a whole bunch of gray. Life now is all about the gray. It's about looking at things from all different perspectives, okay? And really trying to understand where they're coming from. Guys, I'm really sorry I have gone over. This slide I show about sleep because it's so important that students get sleep. Now during quarantine, this is off the charts, just not working, okay? So it's good to find out what's going on with our students regarding sleep. All right. These are the resources: time, self-discipline, self-awareness, behavior, ambition. Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my fellow educators, as Walt Disney said, and I'm going to put it in a context that we can understand as teachers. Not that we can understand as teachers, I'm going to put it in a context about teaching. Whatever we do as teachers, we are going to do it well. We are going to do it splendidly. We're going to be awesome in everything we do. So do it so awesomely well that when people see you do it, your students, then they will want to come back to class and see you do it again and again. They are not going to feel they have to come to English. They are going to feel that they want to come to English. Okay. And those students are going to want to bring other students. They're going to tell their friends, and that positivity is going to spread, and they're going to want to come in as groups, as pairs, as friends to learn from you and show them how well you do it and what you do. And they in turn are going to tell their parents. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for your time, your patience, your understanding. I apologize with my voice. If you couldn't hear me sometimes, I'm battling something, my throat, my trachea. Keep learning, keep developing, keep sharing your thoughts and your ideas, keep collaborating, keep inspiring our future global agents of change. Go fix the washing machine. I will. Wait a minute. You're my concern right now. Okay, that can wait for a little bit more. I haven't heard anybody yelling. You know, things, I look at teaching sometimes in a traditional manner. I look at teaching from a different perspective because I think that the basics are what need to be built and strengthened. So if we look at our daily routines and our habits, and if we look at how we are as individuals and the relationships we have, I think that's going to change a lot in how our students are going to interpret and just synthesize the content that is being given to them. I really think so. I really do. Okay. So thank you so much. All right. Yes, our team is, you know, the whole team of Emma Publications really, we really want to help you both with how you teach, with our content, our components, our resources, and we want to help you in professional development, both personally and professionally, because that comes together, that mixes. Okay. Yes, we're going to have some things in July. I don't know what yet, but we'll keep you posted. Okay. All right. Stay safe. Okay. And keep smiling, stay positive. All right. Online hug. Okay. Thank you guys. Take care. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next week. Okay. Take care.